Everyone, and welcome to CCTV America. I'm Asiye Namdar. First, to closer cooperation and deepening ties between Russia and China. Moscow and Beijing signed multi-billion-dollar agreements on energy, trade, and finance. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang met with his Russian counterpart, Dmitry Medvedev, in Moscow. Tom Barton joins us live with more. Tom, I imagine this comes as welcome news for the Russians, who face pretty stiff sanctions from EU and US.
It absolutely does. Among those agreements, we've seen a deal signed between Russian state energy giant Rosneft and the China National Petroleum Corporation. We've seen 3 Russian banks, all of them under a sanctions regime, open credit lines with a Chinese bank. And those are just a few of the deals. We've also had this huge gas deal, or at least agreements connected with a $400 billion gas deal signed back in May. That would see 38 billion cubic meters of natural gas shipped from Russia via Siberia to China. That due to start in 2019. Further work done towards that today as well. For Russia searching for fresh sources of income as it faces harder financial times from the West, this is good news indeed. Among the agreements being discussed during the visit are nuclear energy, financing, communications and tourism, according to Deputy Foreign Minister Igor Morgulov. China and Russia's banks hope to increase the use of the yuan and ruble in trade settlements.
This year, when the situation in growth of international trade is acute and difficult between January and August, the turnover between our two countries is growing dynamically. And this fact shows by itself that we have huge potential for cooperation.
Also reportedly included are details relating to the $400 billion natural gas supply deal that was signed back in May. Russia has been looking for more energy sales in Asia, as its biggest energy export market, Europe, may be under threat amid deteriorating relations over the Ukraine crisis. Reports say that Russia is set to supply 38 billion cubic meters of gas to China per year, starting in 2019. Both governments are looking for technological modernization.
The situation in world finance is not the easiest one. Not all countries are developing fast, and we have difficulties of our own. Nevertheless, the major banks of our countries have reached an agreement to open credit lines for our joint projects.
The two sides may also be discussing funding for a high-speed Russian railway project. However, some observers are saying that these deals with China, although they may help, they're simply not enough to try and drag Russia out of its teetering position, with the ruble facing terrible problems, falling to historic lows, with problems with capital flight as well. And those same observers saying that China has a business perspective to this relationship. It wants to make a good return on its investments. It's not a charity that's there just to help Russia get out of its difficulties. And so this relationship certainly going some way to this, but Russia's still facing a very difficult times ahead. Many in the international community watching this situation say.
All right, thank you so much. Tom Barton live in Moscow.